Good morning to everyone in attendance. I hope that you're all keeping well. I am Ashrita Chaudhary, and it is with immense delight that I welcome you all to the launch of our official community platform, the Visi Tribe. Before we begin with the event, I would like to introduce our founder, Ms. Vaidehi Vaidya, an engineer turned football enthusiast. She has played a pivotal role in modeling impact programs that help sports people to excel in their career. Ms. Vaidya did her MBA in football industries from the University of Liverpool. Before she started her own venture, Women in Sports India, she was a development consultant with AFDP, the Asian Football Development Project, and was also a member of the first official FIFA Fan Forum. With this, I would like to call Vaidehi to address the gathering. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Hold on, let me also come here. Thank you so much, Ashrita. And it is, of course, a pleasure to be part of this event and to be hosting it. We have two fantastic panels coming up with equally fantastic minds in sport. But before we get to them, I would like to tell you what Women in Sport India does and what we are working towards. I also have a very, very special announcement for all of you. Some of you who were there during the video, you must have heard a little bit about Visi Tribe. I'm going to explain what that is. So to begin with, established in 2020, Women in Sport India, aka Visi, which is how I'm going to address it from now on to make things simpler, is determined to support women in sport across all levels. Visi strongly believes in good health, well-being, and gender equality, both of which are very, very required in women in sport or women's sports field today. We are trying to promote equal opportunities and representation for women in sport by providing three things. 1, resources and knowledge. 2, network. 3, a strong community of women that will support each other and grow. Visi is still young, but it is growing fast. So I would like to share a little bit about the supporters. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you all can see it. I hope you can all see it. As I was saying, we believe in UN sustainable goals, good health, well-being, and gender equality. These are some of our supporters. Of course, all the panelists who you will meet in a bit are also big Visi supporters, and they have supported to achieve what we are today. But those who are not mentioned or those who are not part of the panel today, I must take a few names who you can see on a screen. All Visi advisors and mentors are leaders in their respective sports fields. One of the Visi advisors is Mr. Mandar Tamane, who is also CEO of Bengaluru FC. His mind is like a mine of knowledge. His business acumen has always helped me in my decision-making process, and whatever Visi is today, a lot of the credit goes to him. Our second advisor is Ahana, who has been there with Visi since the beginning. Her practical advice has always been of great value to me. I must specially thank Gaurav Sundaraman. I think he is also in the audience. His input and support in making today's event happen was extremely important. Because of his immense input, I wanted to actually involve him in the event. And but he said, no formalities, please. I will always be there to support. So thank you so much, Gaurav. If you are listening, I am really glad that you are part of Visi, and you have always been there to support me and Visi both. But credit must be given where it is due, right? So a big thank you to all those who have supported Visi till date, not just those who are on screen, but also all of you who are in the audience today are also our big supporters. Remember that. Without you, Visi would not be here. Without you, this event also would not be here. So thank you so much. In our journey, over the last 1 year, we have launched our specialized sports mentoring programs for women and our networking events, Visi Meetups. But today, I am glad to add the third element to the list, which is Visi Tribe. But before we tell you what Visi Tribe is, I would like to tell you why we decided to develop this. There are many, many women in sport who are doing some phenomenal work. Some of them are actually today here. But we are all working alone in silos. If all of us come together, we can help each other and do better. I also realized that there isn't an umbrella platform where women in sport can go to gain knowledge, seek advice, and upskill themselves, which is how we arrived at Visi Tribe. So what exactly is Visi Tribe? Visi Tribe is a digital community platform designed to connect women in sport at a global level. Due to its digital nature, it allows women in sport all over the world to be part of it. It also allows global exchange of knowledge and connections. Through the platform, we offer networking, mentorship, masterclasses, upskilling programs, community huddles, growth toolkits, access to job opportunities, and exclusive benefits to all our members. Who can be part of this platform? That's a big question, isn't it? To be honest, women who are in sports, who want to be in sports, who are interested in sports can be part of Visi Tribe. In short, all women who are even remotely interested in sports can be part of Visi Tribe. At present, we have 2 memberships, Bleachers and Courtside. Bleachers is a very basic membership where you can log in, you can connect with other members, but you won't get other benefits. Whereas Courtside comes with exclusive benefits, which you can see on some of them you can see on the screen. We are posting link to Visi Tribe landing page in our chat. You can directly visit that page to become part of Visi Tribe. But if you want to connect with us, you can send us an email at contact@womeninsportindia.com. So one of our colleague, one of Visi colleague will post link to both, and you can visit the landing page or connect with us if you have any more questions. We will also be giving you a sneak peek into the platform after the first panel. So stick around. You will know that it's a very colorful, user-friendly, and very interactive platform, and you will love it. We will also answer any Visi Tribe related questions after the second panel. So without further ado, let us welcome speakers of our first panel. Let me welcome our first speaker, Sharda. Sharda, Ashita, maybe you can spotlight her also. To tell you a little bit about Sharda, Sharda Ugra has been a sports journalist for over 3 decades. She started her career with Mumbai tabloid Midday before working for national daily, The Hindu. Hi, Sharda. It's so nice to see you here.
Hi, good morning. Sorry, I was a bit slow on the
No worries. It's always great to see you. I was just introducing you. So she started her career with Mumbai tabloid Midday before working for national daily, The Hindu, India Today magazine, and ESPN Cricinfo or ESPN India. She has worked with former New Zealand captain John Wright on John Wright's Indian Summers, his memoirs of his years coaching in India, and also with Yuvraj Singh on the test of my life, an account of his diagnosis and recovery from cancer. She was a fellow of Australia India Institute, University of Melbourne in 2013. And currently she is a columnist for Hindustan Times and Mojo Story and lives in Bangalore. Welcome, Sharda. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Bhide. Good morning, everyone.
Our second panelist is Deepti Bhopia. She is CEO of Go Sports Foundation. She has represented the state of Karnataka for her in basketball and also her university, Deepti, if I'm not wrong. She completed her MBA and worked for HSBC for more than 5 years. After her job at HSBC, she joined Go Sports Foundation and rose through the ranks to now become CEO of Go Sports Foundation. She was also part of a committee of Sports Ministry under the guidance of Honorable Sports Minister, Mr. Kiren Rijiju, to create National Sports Education Board. She is a great example of how women from non-sports background can make a career in sports. Welcome, Deepti. It is so nice to see you here.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
And last but not least, our third speaker is Arshi Yasin. Arshi is a co-founder and CEO of The Bridge. She is a digital advertising and marketing professional who is in love with sports and is trying to change the way sport is seen in our country through her venture, The Bridge. She is a firm believer of adapting new things and always evolving to face situation on front foot. On a personal level, she loves to travel. I do too, Arshi, by the way. Run, cycle, and explore new destinations. Arshi, a special thank you to you. I know that you are not well today, but you still came for the event. So thank you so much. And welcome all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being part of today's event. So let's start with our panel, and a big question from me to all the panelists is, while working in your respective sports vertical, Sharda as a journalist, Deepti in sports development, and Arshi as an entrepreneur, what gaps do you see that we as women in sport need to fill or can fill? And what are the aspects of ourselves that we need to work on? Shall we start with Sharda?
Yeah, that's a huge question about sort of gaps that there are. I think I'll just sort of speak completely from a journalist point of view. For a generation of journalists that are starting out now, women sports journalists, it's not odd for you now to be seen as in this profession, which it was when I had begun. So you've got over all those original hurdles and challenges, and you'll get a little bit of the nonsense, but that's with women in all professions everywhere, right? What I think has to be done, depends on what kind of a role you want, whether it's a role of a reporter or a writer or somebody who works on the back or behind the scenes. Even Arshi will be talking about it. You work on the copy desk. So those are different skills that you need to have, and you need to be, I would say the fault line that there lies is perhaps a sense of mentoring. I just want to bring the example. I'll be very, very quick because I realize we have a short time and I can just ramble. The example of when I started working for Midday newspaper, it was a very young organization, and I saw women everywhere in senior positions. I saw them on the desk. They were the head of the city desk. They were the head of the crime desk, of the crime beat, the city beat. There were people. So there was that presence was always there. And I think as journalists, you have to be aware of that you are also that presence in the room, and whatever you do and whatever you say and how you present yourself, almost how professional you are makes a very big difference to your own sense of well-being and so on. And what you need to do, I think now all of you are just such terrific multitasking people. You know how to handle video, you know how to do social media. So just keep upskilling those things, but make sure that your knowledge of whatever you're doing is as deep and as broad-based as it can be. And once you're there, then you'll have a lot of confidence to work with media and so on. That's my initial response.
Thanks, Sharda. Fantastic. And I think there are some gems that we could definitely take from that. You yourself are a presence is absolutely like spot on. And we all need to remember that, all of us, especially women. Right. Let me come to Deepti. Your thoughts.
Yeah. So first of all, congratulations, Vedi. Great to see this whole group here and all the different kinds of people who are on this group. So really, really happy and very proud of you. In terms of what we can do as women, there are a bunch of things. I feel, first of all, just doing what you need to do all the time, right? Not expecting, some sort of a special privilege just because you're a woman. If you've got a seat on the table, then make sure you grab every single opportunity that you get. Don't feel shy, speak up. When your work starts speaking for itself, you'll obviously get a lot more opportunities that come your way. But the initial years is you have to fight, you have to go, and you have to say whatever's on your mind, and you have to know that it's all right. You've done your homework, you know the reason why you're doing it. Your passion has to speak for itself, and I think homework is a big part of it, because a lot of times we feel, okay, now that we're here, we're sorted, we don't need to do anything. But even Sharda mentioned, there's a lot of ongoing work, reading up, research, and all of that before you actually speak. Today, in the world of social media, we kind of see one person put up something, we just take that, and then we it's all repurposed immediately and put out. But what is your authentic self that is really coming out? So when they think about you, what are the 2-3 things that really come to your mind? I feel if you can build your brand in such a manner, and I'm saying brand, this is something that a lot of people in B school or in corporate, we've learned that, right? What is your brand? And at that time, it did not make sense at all. But today, when you think of it, when someone speaks about you, in what context are they speaking about you? Are they saying, oh my God, she's really passionate. She really knows her stuff. She can get things done. If you want action, please reach out to her. So I think these are all things that happen over a period of time. It's not going to happen in your first year, second year, third year, right? This is my 10th year now in sports administration, and you're still proving yourself in many, many, many places, right? And I think the ability to work with different stakeholders. A lot of times we feel that if we are working with athletes, I'll only stick to athletes. But there's so much of information you get from parents, from coaches, from experts, from the government, from SAI. So ability to build relationships across all levels has really helped me. And I always believe that once you create a relationship, the work and business will happen, right? But first you should know each other as people. You should want to talk to that person, and you should want to really sit with them and have a conversation. If you can do that, the work will happen. At least that's what I believe in.
That's fantastic. And I think one of the things that you always tell this, Deepti, that women should think about their work irrespective of gender, right? This is something that you have always told me, and you have always told other people. So I think that's a very important takeaway, at least for me, and I think all the women listening can also take that away from this conversation. Arshi, let me also come to you and have your thoughts on the question as well.
Yeah, hi. So first of all, I don't think I'll be able to match the energy of Sharda ma'am and Deepti today. Actually, I'm COVID positive right now, and I'm having very severe symptoms. But then I was so much looking forward to this event. So mujhe nahi chhodna tha. So that's why I'm here. 2-3 things here. Deepti spoke about having a chair on the table. My journey has been, I thought of why not to create my own table, that has been my journey. And the thing is, whether you spoke about what gaps we can fill as women. See, first of all, I don't think we should do, irrespective of any industry, we women, even let's forget industry, way of living life. We should do whatever we want to do, right? We should not, there should not be any sort of regret at the end of the life. And we don't ask these questions to our male counterparts. It's similar, like be it maternity, be it anything, even a sports person. Sharda ma'am has seen so much, and you have spoken to so many athletes. This conversation might be repetitive for you, but coming back to when we are in a position of decision making. Gender is obviously not important, but how gender is important here is that probably people like Sharda ma'am or Deepti or myself, we inspire the younger generation. Like, I don't even understand, although I get messages from people that, okay, you inspire us, but I feel like, okay, I'm just doing whatever I feel like doing. And I find it weird at times, but then doing whatever we want to do or the decisions which we want to pursue should not be a big deal in an ideal society, right? But it's unfortunate where we are. But again, if you see, especially in the last 10 years, we have seen women coming up. And the unfortunate part is that, especially for females, if you are failing, although I don't like using this term failing, but if you are not doing that well, somewhere you get the response from the industry that people want you to not do that good. It is like, why did you even try it out? You get that sense, and that sense of not being cooperative. It's I'm drawing an analogy here, how Bollywood mein hota hai na, insider outsider thing. That thing is here. And yeah, more or less, this is it. And in a nutshell, whatever gaps you want to fill, just do it. Don't overthink. As both Sharda ma'am and Deepti said here, that do your homework properly. And being, especially in the media business, it is like every day you have to read. It's never ending. And sometimes and even if you think of, let me take an off for 48 hours or 72 hours and turn off my internet, it doesn't work that way. So yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, Vaidehi, carry on. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashi. I think one of the major takeaway from your points was, if there isn't a table where we can sit, why don't we create one for ourselves, which is fantastic. So moving on, let me come to you, Sharda, again. And I know I've heard you speak on many different platforms, and I know that you're a big supporter of equality and Olympism. What does it mean to you? What does equality and Olympism mean to you? And how building a community of women in sport can bring about that change?
I think, first of all, Arshi, please don't call me ma'am. I cannot be the only ma'am on the panel. Please call me by my name. Nobody calls me ma'am ever. As in, I'm asking you not to call me ma'am ever. Not to say that it doesn't happen. Yeah, so going back to, what does it mean to be gender equal, for example, I think in the way that as journalists, we look at sports, I think my biggest, almost what I call a loss and a failing on one part, was to understand that the Indian woman athlete's life is not just the life of an Indian man athlete who has boobs. It's to speak very, very plainly. It's not that. It's very, very different. And those are the nuances, I think, now in this late in my career, I'm now 30 years plus in the profession, you have to understand and you have to recognize when those things come up. And they are still there. They still do exist. You are hearing, you find them popping up everywhere. And your only response as a journalist is to be able to counter it and fight it and stand up and say, you cannot be dealing with this topic in this manner, and to understand nuance and to understand what is happening. Because what happens with women athletes, women sports administrators, women in every field, women coaches, in every field, is that you get these little bit of, sort of prickly responses. Like Arshi said, that if you start failing, then it becomes about many other things other than, which will not strike when you're discussing male counterparts all across. If you start failing, in the sense, again, it's a very big word, if you're struggling to succeed, let's say. And I think as women in the sports industry, as men in the sports industry, as people in the sports industry, you have to be able to pick up that little sign that it's not right. A lot has changed. I was just talking a couple of days ago to Shanti Soundaranjan, and she said, if I was in this time and this age, if I was competing, people would have understood me better. And so that is a big change that we've seen that's happened, but it's taken an enormous amount of pushing, and but you still get you still have that, because the power in the sports industry still rests with men, and that is what you have to recognize. And it's not constantly, you're not fighting or whatever it is. For journalists is what I'm saying. I mean, Deepti has a seat on the table, and we always champion her cause all the time. So as gender equality is those things, is understanding and approaching the subject with, when will this start to kick in? Let me recognize it. Let me see what's going on here. And again, I'm putting forward completely a journalistic point of view. What's behind the story of Manika Batra and what happened with her, etc., etc. So I think those are the things that we need to be much more aware of. And I think it took me some time. It took me a long time, but it's now here, and it's so good to see a platform like this where everyone can speak and share. And it's important for women in the business or everywhere to share, because everyone is in solidarity. Basically, you're all women and men. I can say that the men in the thing, they must be feeling that I'm just going after them. No, all of us who are here, it's important to share and be part of a community and feel part of that community and engage with it.
Yeah. So while you are speaking, Sharda, I know this was not the questions that I sent all of you. I want to take a poll from the speakers. There has always been that friction, whether actions speak louder than words, or words have a lot of effect on how things change. So I want to quickly ask all of you, what do you believe in? Would action speak much louder than words, or words have equal amount of effect? Deepti, what do you think?
I think it's really context, right? In what scenario, in what situation has this happened, or and when you think about action and words, a lot of different things come to my mind, right? It's not just as simple and straightforward as that. But I mean, if you're talking about equality, right, or even feminism, there's a lot of things that there's a belief that women want to say we are superior to men. Nobody wants to be superior to men. We just want to be treated just the way you are treated, right? Nobody is saying we're stronger than you or anything. We're just saying that if you're getting these opportunities, women should also get these opportunities. Just treat us equally, treat us as another individual. Don't give us any extra privileges, but listen and give us the opportunity to share what we can do and what we can bring. So for me, your question is a little too vague. It really is in the context, but for me, it's all about action. You can say whatever that you want, but if you don't show action and you don't show results, then it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Arshi, what's your take on that?
See, words without action is definitely futile. But in today's age, only action without word will not give the desired result, right? And I'm an entrepreneur, and life generally throws situations on me which compels me to broaden my horizon in terms of thought process and all of these things. So yeah, it's a very gray area, and especially in today's age where everything is so interconnected. Journalism, and now even a content creator has started calling himself or herself as a journalist, right? Whereas these two are separate things. So yeah, that in a nutshell, yeah, that's my response. Like action followed by words. Yeah.
Fantastic. Shada, let me also come back to you and ask you for your opinion.
Again, like Deepti said, it's a very vast question, but for me as a journalist, words are my action. So I have to keep performing that action of committing to those words and putting them out everywhere. So that's the way I look at it. But in terms of, say, policy decisions, I think words can generate the action that we require. I mean, Deepti will tell you about all the things that to push and get an inch what needs to be done in terms of policy. I think words matter in terms of sports policy, particularly, which is where we are all interested. And pushing for it and making enough noise about it is what happens.
Fantastic. It was, I know I put you on all on spot, but I just wanted to know what you think about this because this has been something that has been on my mind for a while. I just wanted to know what you all think about it. Let me come to Deepti again. My question to you is, we see very few women in power position, especially in sports, power positions or decision-making positions. So, and you are one of those women. So what do women need to do to be in such decision-making or power positions? Any advice you could give, any steps you can provide, any insights you can provide, that'll be great.
I think it's a process, it's a journey. I'm going to say what we tell our athletes all the time. You can want the gold medal, but you have to put in the work and you have to follow the process. You have to do what is required on a daily basis to get to the top. And this is not just in sport, this is in any corporate career, or if you're, all my examples are always sport. If you're telling, it's the pursuit of excellence, right? It's wanting to be the best possible version of yourself. And if that best possible version gets you to be in a power position, great. But I think it is important to work along with people. I've been very fortunate to have many mentors along the way. I've had people in my leadership team, my trustees, Nandan, who've been extremely supportive of, allowing me to make decisions and backing me up. I think that is definitely helped. And a lot of conversations. It's not just, do this or do that. So somewhere, and I'm going back to my first point, that you have to also showcase what you're able to do on your own. As a team, how are you able to grow that little vision into and execute it in the terms that you want? But it comes, with a lot of risks. It comes with a lot of conversations with yourself. It comes with a lot of learning and unlearning and changing of beliefs over the years, things which we've learned when we are young, growing up. Even my parents have always said, you do the work and your results will come in. But then you realize that sometimes that gets you to one place. But if you want to go to the next place, you have to ask, you have to have difficult conversations. You have to, you have to really put yourself out there. And when I say put yourself out there, it means different things to different people, right? Like Sharda mentioned, it's through words. Arshi's doing, this whole thing with Bridge, which is incredible, in terms of how we've all tracked the Olympics and the Paralympics. And now, we're looking forward to what they're putting up and all the different themes that they're covering. But what is that niche that you can create and you bring to the table? And it is not, a woman with power is alone. But a woman with a lot of people can really go forward and make an impact. And that's what I truly believe, that if we all work together, men, women, all of us, right, as an industry, we can do so much more, because we are not even 1% of the possibilities of what all we can actually achieve together.
Absolutely, Deepti. And while we are speaking about leadership, female leadership, there's a question in chat, which I think goes with the question that I asked you. Do you think there is any different value that women as a leader can bring to the table? That's the question from Varshana.
I think multitasking and empathy comes very naturally to women. I think you can figure out what's happening at home and you can do something, you can do a good job at work and you have a lot of other things. But I feel that's really changing. And I genuinely believe that it's really tough to be a man in today's generation, right? Because no matter what you do, if you're supportive, you're like, why are you being so supportive? If they, give you a piece of their mind, you're like, oh my God, you cannot speak to me like this. So all my sympathies with a lot of men who really genuinely want to just support. So I feel it's okay, take the support, see what is possible. And honestly, for me, I don't look at it as male leadership and female leadership. And that's the first thing we need to change. You're a leader, right? Doesn't matter about your gender. And while this group is to really build the ethos of women in sport, I just feel We all really need to just look at ourselves as leaders. Can you inspire? Can you create impact? I think that's my definition of leadership.
I would like to add something, Vaidehi, on that part.
Yeah, please.
See, being female leaders, all of us, each one of us, are ambassadors of talking about the issues which women, especially athletes, right? So we compassion comes with the gender that way. I'll give you one basic example. Last year, we rolled out period leave in the bridge. Tell me who Shada ma'am, okay, sorry, Shada, you tell me, like, maybe when you started your career, were you even able to think ki koi, employer, they will even talk about this thing?
No, you are not supposed to have periods. Never mind me. What about the athletes? What is period? What is this nonsense? No one is supposed to talk about menstruation.
Ladki ka problem. We still hear that.
Ladki ka problem.
Yeah.
Good for you.
This is I think this is the most important thing which we can do as women leaders. In fact, I have almost 45% of our staff, they are female, and one day one of our interns, she was not aware of the period leave, and she dropped a message that, here, she, I'm having stomach pain. Maine bola kya hua? She said, no, period, second day. Maine bola, put it on the channel. So we use Slack for our communication. And you have to put it unapologetically that I'm on period leave today. Why do you have to feel ashamed of this, right? And probably this is something I feel so good to implement this. So good, the satisfaction which I get. And this, I'm able to do this only because I'm sitting on that authority where I can bring. Probably only a handful of girls are, being able to sorry, wait. Yeah, but then again, this is something which I feel so good about it. And a similar topic, basically stirring the right kind of conversation, I feel is very, very important. The other day, we were randomly talking about use of menstrual cups and how it is liberating to women, etc., etc. And these are the conversations which need to be brought to the forefront. It can't be hush hush. We are here in 2022 and they're still talking about the same things. It can't. Bahut ho gaya. Matlab, I may sound frustrated at the moment, but then probably because of the COVID impact, please ignore. But yeah, that's the thing, and that's why I feel that more and more women need to have their own voice. That is extremely important. Otherwise, it becomes tricky. Yeah, please carry ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Arshi. I think
actually that's a great point that she brought in. I just wanted to share, at the foundation, one of the things that we do, all menstrual conversations also, our athlete managers, male athlete managers also are expected to have, because we track everything, right, through our athlete monitoring system. So the initial thing is like, how can I ask them, right? And the athlete is, because you're not supposed to have these conversations, right? But it's been so amazing for us to see how today they know when, what, the coach is sitting there, we're actually sitting together and we know the entire cycle, and when the peak is, and we're able to do all of this. But initially, and this is something we've also learned, our initial years, we would always keep female athlete managers to female athletes, right? Which we changed. I mean, at least for these kind of topics. I mean, like, why are we doing this? And Arshi is right. If you're in that position to make these small changes, do it.
And then also what happens then is that you then create a lot of the women who are working with you say, okay, this is what I'll do going forward, 5 years now, from 10 years from now, what I've got. This is the power that I've been given. And this is the power, and this is the recognition for a very basic thing that is there. I mean, the fact that I think we should go and check internationally how many studies there are on women athletes and how they perform during periods, and it's very little. And you're thinking, what? We are going to the moon and to Mars, and we can't do this. So, yeah.
So true, so true. And Arshi, congratulations. I know, I remember you posted about this and I was like, wow, this is a step which is very much needed. And you're absolutely right. If women are in that decision-making positions, they can
But
bring
you know, Vaidehi, that also brought controversy. वो तो एक अलग problem है. That you
I
are
think we
giving
can
more
have
benefits to female employees.
yeah, I think we can have an entire session about what what sort of controversies it can bring. But I was in full support of your decision, so well done. But let me come back to you, Arshi, with a question. In the field of sports entrepreneurship, you are a trendsetter. You know, a lot of people know you. A lot of people know the bridge and the work that you are doing. If you want to encourage more women into sports entrepreneurship, what could we do? As you know, as an existing community of women, you, me, Sharda, Deepti, what could we possibly do to make that happen?
First of all, entrepreneurship in general, like irrespective of gender, it is a daunting task to, undertake. It is something, basically, any individual should be aware on, what you are getting into. And even if you are not aware, that's okay. But two things here. Let me break this down into two parts. First thing is that try not starting something on your own when you are a fresher. This is A. Most important thing is try to work in a professional setup for at least quite a few years before jumping into this entrepreneurship bandwagon. Second thing is, irrespective of when you start, let's say you are having 5 years of experience or 10 years of experience, every day you have to work on yourself. I'll tell you from my, obviously now it's been 4 years of Bridge. Now I know everything, kiska GST rates kitna hai, although I am an engineering graduate, and when you start something, you are the director of the company, you are also the peon of the company. So it works that way. And the benefit of entrepreneurship is it makes you a lot humble and down to earth, because the range is so much, it's so wide of working. In one step, you are putting the hat of a CEO, and in the second step, you are doing the task ki agar office mein koi meeting ke liye aaya hai, office boy nahi hai, to you don't need to shy away that going to the cafeteria and bringing a glass of water, right? It is typical. Mere office mein, in fact, I laugh at times. People tell me, "Aap to office ke mummy ho." Matlab, you behave like a mom at times. And I'm always, I don't know, I have this trait. I'll ask everybody, how's your health, and etc., all of these things. So coming back to your question, entrepreneurship, yes, upskilling and upgrading oneself every day is really, really important. And staying in the same pace as your industry is functioning is something which is very important. Third thing is that, as I told before, that life puts you in tough spots. I'll give you one example. On Instagram right now, all these Instagram reels are catching up, right? Tell me one thing, how can you tell a good story in 15 seconds or 30 seconds? Can you do justice to it? No, right? And I have a lot of healthy disagreeing conversations with my social media team and I disagree to them a lot of times that I don't think this content should have gone, but they are like, no, Arshi, isme engagement aayega. And I cannot deny the fact that in this entire millennial thingy is in such a way that you have to feed content that way, and it is also being promoted by all these apps and the algorithm function, right? So I end up doing things which I morally disagree, and I often end up I'm having a very candid conversation, because a lot of times, especially when you are an entrepreneur, people on the other side, they feel like why you're doing certain things a certain way. But then I'm telling you, like here, I end up being in tough spot where I disagree to things, but then we end up doing that because right now we are catering content to people who are 15-year-old, 17-year-old, and they have such short attention span. They don't read lengthy content, and this is a huge problem. It's a huge problem. I mean, imagine in today's age. I feel bad for this generation, although ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ी हूँ. I might sound like a buzurg here, but the charm of reading good editorial pieces, that is getting lost. So I don't know what to do, but I'm also figuring out ways to solve this. Yeah.
Maybe Sharda can,
Yeah,
give you
I
some
would love to
insights.
hear.
No, I'm just amazed and in full awe actually of Archie who's doing this, because it's such a tough balancing act. Because I am of a particular generation of sports writer, I can, there's stuff I can actually avoid and not do, I'm not on social media. I don't think it's a big deal. I'm on Instagram only to follow football teams having conversations with each other like that. So, but Archie is on basically what is currently the front line of our journalism. As to what do you do and how do you get this engagement, and can you tell a good story in 15 seconds? And honestly, you cannot even know. A lot of the times, a lot of this tends to be marketing driven. And the only thing I can say is that I am in absolute admiration of people who are able to survive in this time. And at the same time, what they've also done is that they have been able to be inventive, innovative. They've been able to improvise. Which is, I think, it's essential for a journalist. The ability to do that is essential. I remember I had gone to do some videos before the 2019 World Cup, and I ran around doing a video shoot and then forwarding it, and everyone laughed because some of it was really awful. But you just do it. But your basic that you fall back on, your basic is your writing and your editorial length and all the other stuff that is there. So, I mean, you can just hope. You're looking at things like design, you're looking at things like how do you pull audiences in, and I am absolutely neither Deepti's sort of marketing smart executive, fundamentally let's get a job done brain, nor do I have Archie's sort of ability to almost shapeshift is what it's called. But I think that for a younger generation, it should be easier. It should be simpler. But again, the thing that we said, that make sure that your base and your knowledge is thorough and deep. And you can then write fun stuff. You can then write, clickbaity material or make your 15-second videos. But the moment your basis is there, then you won't even get a single word odd or wrong or whatever.
Yeah, so I think from Archie's, I can absolutely relate to Archie. I remember today we have about 100 people attending this event, of course, because of the stellar panel we have. But I remember when I did my first event as Women in Sport, I had about 10 people. And I had to physically, like Archie said, you have to be peon of the company also. So I remember how much effort I had put in at that point of time, and actually physically went to people for them to attend my event. But in 2 years, things have changed. And thank you everybody who supported this. So moving on, we have questions coming in and I want to get to them. But first, a very last question from me to all of you. What can Women in Sport India do to build a strong community, and what avenues or facilities should we provide? Special avenues and facilities should we provide to all women in sport? That is something that I want to know from you. Should we go in reverse? Archie, you first.
Upskilling is something which I often I have spoken about this thing, because the moment, let's say, we roll out an opening in the company, right? Although I always tell my people, मुझे अच्छी female candidates चाहिए, मुझे अच्छे female candidates चाहिए, right? And but unfortunately, I think Deepti will also agree with me on this, that we often receive good, impressive female resumes. And I fail to understand why there is so much of a gap on this front. It is like probably 1 out of 20. That's the ratio. And although yes, we want to have, we being in position of authority, we want to get more and more females for good leadership positions, but then the funnel is so small, we don't get enough. And I understand that still building a career in sports industry is also not encouraged by families. This is something which is a battle even today, right? But to all the women out there who is there on this conversation, if you really want to make your career in the sports industry, see, gone are those days when we used to say that enough opportunity nahi hai. There are opportunities, but you may find it difficult to land up to your like dream job, but then you have to consistently keep trying, right? Only then you will be whatever is needed, network, etc., pursue people, whatever is needed, and you, it is like you have to behave like a tigress on hunt. That's in a nutshell, that's how we have to behave, and we have to understand no one else is going to do this for us, right? We have to do it. And yes, it's good to get support from people, but then even if you don't get support from people, don't get demotivated. It's okay, we will pull off.
Fantastic. Deepti, let me come to you.
So I think as a platform, mentorship, I think, is a very aspect. A lot of people, try and follow a very formal pattern of mentorship. Oh, these are people who are very well known, so let me try and become a mentee to them. Doesn't work like that. I think mentee is a very organic relationship that has to grow. You have to first, like I said, you have to first talk to each other. You have to understand each other's, dreams, aspirations, and then see what value you can add. And a lot of people think that only when I reach a position of power, I will start mentoring someone. But you could even, you could now be 5, 8, 10 years in your job, and you still have a lot of information that could help someone who's just starting off. So I would really urge that everyone on this group tries to, find 1 or 2 people who they can speak to. It doesn't have to be a formal arrangement with fixed times or anything, but just giving that time and learnings, because I genuinely feel that if we took 10 years to get here and make a mark for ourselves, or 30 years, some of you are really lucky in 3-4 years because of how the industry has moved, you're able to come up with really, really nice ideas, and it's getting accepted immediately. So I feel like as a platform, giving the ability for people to connect with different people and get mentored, I think would be a very valuable, offering that you will give through the tribe concept. And that sounds really, really exciting. And also, what are the areas that you want to learn about? You could be in one area of sport, but if you want to move into something else, find 2-3 people in that area, right? For example, we also work in disability sport. But when we got into it, we didn't even understand the basic aspect from a disability perspective, globally as well. And what do you need for athletes with disabilities? But if you look at India as a country, even basic things on the accessibility front are not taken care. Forget sport. So all our athletes who are doing so well are really, against all odds doing it, even though basic things are not taken care of. So whatever area you want to get into, I feel first try and understand where is it globally, how much information do you have, and it comes back to learning, and find mentors and people to speak to in that area. So if your platform can open that up and people can choose, I'm interested in these 3-4 topics, I want to talk to these people, and you start, sorry, Vedi, we should have this chat later. We do this, otherwise I can do.
No, I will schedule a full hour with you, and I think there is a lot you can share, and you have been, right? You have been one of those people who I shared my idea with, and we should definitely speak again. But let me come to you, Sharda, as a final opinion.
What Deepti said is just astonishing, because again, the clarity of thinking that exists, because that is her personality, that is what she does. I think maybe also have a place where you are able to bring up insecure, unheard. I just realized that my panel at the back is upside down. So it's completely odd. I thought I'd put it. So, there should be some sort of space there to be able to share and vent, because women go through a lot of, women and men go, particularly younger people starting out, go through a lot of difficulties figuring out what the world is like. Certainly in journalism, there's a question here, I think, is from Kritika saying, what do you do if, what do you do that if you don't get the opportunities you want? How do you deal with that? Then you have to re-examine what you're in the business for. A lot of us, and anyway, that's a separate sort of, in journalism sense, that's completely different to what is there. People are here from all types, but that is my thing, is that find a space to be able to vent, almost have some space there, and then get responses, because that will happen. That will happen.
Yeah, absolutely, Sharda. And I will have, like, Deepti, I'll have a separate conversation with you about it. I have an idea which I will discuss with you in a separate call. But thank you so much. What I'm going to do is, we do have a few questions. So I know we are at the hour, but if you don't mind waiting 5 minutes, there are some very, very interesting questions that I would like to ask you. One of the questions that came through chat and our registration form is from Kriti. Her question is, why is it that the sports culture in India requires a professional to be connected and be known face for a number of years before they even consider before they are even considered for a role? The skill set and experience holds lower value for some reason. That's what she thinks. I would love to know what your response to it is. I'll come back to Sharda again, and then Deepti and Arshi.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know in what sense that is being talked about. Is it being talked about journalism? Is being talked about access? I'm not really sure what the specific question is related to. If
it's more generic, Sharda. I think it's
okay.
What she's trying to say is, in any field in sports, your connection is more important than your skill and knowledge. That's what she thinks.
I'm not sure that is true in my field. I think that there is now, because I've always said this, that since the onset of these private bodies that have come into Indian sport, because of all the flaws that they existed in the system, they have made a huge change. I think culturally there's been a change in terms of work, sort of work equations, and opportunities are also huge. Maybe what is the name of the person who's asking the question, you said? Starting with V?
Kruti. Sorry, I'm here. Hi.
Sorry, Kruti.
No worries.
Sorry, Kruti.
No worries.
That maybe she's had a bad experience, and it's been like you're banging your head against the wall the whole time, but you just have to keep banging a little bit more somewhere else, and you will find time where people will get ahead of you. They'll do things that will be there, but you have to be in it for the long run, pretty much, and the long run is a very long run. So Deepti saying I'm 10 years into the profession, and she knows that her first 2 years she may have just wanted to just throw everything up and go back to the bank. So
no, thank you. Yeah. Do you mind if I just jump in a little? Is that all right?
Kriti, we have limited time, so unfortunately we can't do conversations. No, but let's move to Deepti's opinion on this. Maybe she can also.
Again, I agree with Sharda, what she's saying. The context may be very different, and also maybe a particular experience that is, or multiple experiences that have probably created this perspective for you. But I would disagree that it is like that. I think if there's talent and there's intent, the opportunity will come, right? And you have to look out for that opportunity. And if you're not getting that opportunity, maybe you're looking in the wrong place. Maybe you've not stepped back, you're not reflecting, you're not really going back to the drawing board and saying, you know what, I want to get here, and these are my 3-4 options. How do I break this down? Who are the people in that industry that I should probably talk to and understand? Do I really want to be there? Because maybe, sometimes we feel we're going to be good at everything in sport, but it doesn't work. I can't take up a role of a strength and conditioning expert. I have no idea. I mean, I have some idea over the years. to understand the reports, but I can't give them give an athlete a direction on how much weight they should lift and what exercise they should do. That's not my area. I can want to become a strength and conditioning expert. Obviously, if I apply for it, I will be rejected, right? Because that is not my space. So I think understanding your own strengths, what is it that you bring to the table, and then going back and putting in short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. I think that has really, really helped. It could be personal goals. It could be at an organization level, what you want to do, and then look at what are the opportunities. And just to share, when I came in from the bank, there was no concept of athlete management, right? So as an organization, we kind of tried our best to create what is the gap between an athlete, and then this athlete manager role actually came up. And today we're very proud that even the ministry and the tops have a similar structure of what we have created. They've picked and chosen from different organizations, but the athlete management model is something that we were able to put. Today you have sports management degrees which were not there in India, right? Everyone were going abroad and coming back. So much has changed in the last 2, 3, 5 years, I would say. And we can continue to change and evolve, because today we have access to international practices. You immediately know what is available globally, and you can start it over here. So I personally feel, Kriti, step back, reflect, see if you're knocking on the right doors, but you don't need to be well known to get opportunities. I would disagree on that.
I agree with you, Deepti. Let me come to Arshi for a quick opinion.
Yeah, I was deep down smiling. So Kritika, first of all, I agree to what you're saying. Okay, let's have very healthy disagreements here. It's good. We are a democratic country. So I agree. I have 2-3 points. I'll be quick. First thing is that do we really want to land up in a job where we are getting the job because of sources and connect, and not on the basis of our capability? Do we really want that? If that's the case, then we need to question ourselves, right? This is something which all of us need to be very, very clear about. Second thing is, I agree to you that yes, landing up on good opportunities needs some sort of connects, etc. But even if you get that only on the basis of the connects, the success will be very short-lived, right? I mean, we have Sharda with us today, and Sharda Ugra is not just a name, it's a legacy. And that is completely because of her own actions and her own depth, right? So it doesn't matter. It is like what we want to do and how we want to do. Yes. Now, telling you from my experience, when I started Bridge, I used to message people, like especially all these decision makers of let's say all the leagues, or all the CEOs of these big companies. कोई मुझे भाव नहीं देता था. Okay, I'll be very, very honest. And now, to an extent, when Bridge people know thoda bahut, so surprisingly I get response and I get so many connection requests. And I fail to understand that. In fact, I tell this to people that if you feel that you are sending the connection request and you will get a job, it doesn't work like this, right? At the end of the day, the skill set matters. That's it. Even if you get a job or an internship only on the basis of connection, again, the success will be short-lived and it won't be there forever. Yeah.
That's a super.
Thanks. We have one more question, and I request all the speakers to be super quick. This is my personal favorite question, so I'm going to ask all of you and know what you all think. There's a question from Ayush Dabas. He's saying, from my 12 years across sports organizations globally, something which has always troubled me is the fact that women in the same organization take competitiveness to a level where they try to bring each other down. Need of the hour is to be there for each other. Sorry.
Can you just repeat?
Lost you, but I think we got the question.
You got the.
Go ahead.
But I will repeat the question. So he's asking, from my 12 years across sports organizations globally, Something which has always troubled me is the fact that women in the same organization take competitiveness to a level where they try to bring each other down. Need of the hour is to be there for each other's success and failures, but this seems to dwindle a lot of women in sport. How does one recommend those ethos in a newer generation of women leaders? So a quick round of answers. Deepti, let me come to you first.
Okay. I was just thinking, okay, but I think socially it's a social thing. You've always been pitted against women. Look at everyone around us. Look at like growing up, you always have to compete, right? And there were very few positions. So that was probably the reason why you were so competitive. But today there is enough opportunity. If you're good, you will, like I said, you can create your own table like Archie, or you find a space, you do what you want. But I personally feel that women are women's best supporters and worst enemies also, right? But that's because of how socially it's been there. But today, if you look at brands, if you look at look at ads coming up today, right? There was always this thing that sister-in-laws cannot be friends, and you cannot, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law cannot, like, look at all of that. You've grown up with that kind of mentality, right? So how can you suddenly come into a workplace and then pat each other's back and say, oh, you've done very well? I don't think it's possible. But today's generation has actually stepped back, and you're like, wow, if another girl's doing well, send that message, give them that kudos, congratulate them. Today, so many different things can happen, right? Only a wedding is not the ultimate agenda for a woman, right? Or if you started your own business, congratulate them. They've got married, great. Got, started something else. There's so much to celebrate, but I think a lot of it, I understand the question, but I don't think it's a competitiveness that started in the office. It is something that is very cultural, social, which we're all trying to break out from. At least in the last decade or two, I've definitely seen changes, but it will take time because we're all made up of our belief systems, right? It's going to take time to really understand and change that about us. So I think we're moving away from that to some extent.
Sharda, let me come to you for a quick opinion.
Yeah, I think also, I'm in agreement with a lot of what Deepti said. My experience have been completely the reverse. I'm talking about 1989, 90. I came into an organization where there were women in everywhere. I think the definition of competitiveness changes when men are talking about women and when men are talking about men, right? So you're just trying to get ahead, and the other one is being a bitch. So I worked in India today for 10 years, and I have to tell you, in terms of toxic competitiveness across gender, there is nothing like that organization. And they were wonderful to me. So I would not want to slot it in one way or the other. It just, I think how you look at it as competitiveness, or whether you look at it as, go-getting, it's just how you, it's just what your definition is. And if women are more than men, 12 years, I'd say, for the gentleman who asked the question, it's just a hang on and see what happens. Give yourself some time, give yourself 25 years, and then we'll talk.
Thanks, Sharda. Arshi, for a quick answer to that question, if you can.
The core reason why this exists is because society has deliberately kept women only as the what do you call it, gatekeepers of patriarchy. That's all. In a nutshell, that's the reason. And even if today, after having so much of access to information and knowledge, if we women, we intend to carry that same baggage going forward, then we are stupid. Let me put it that way. I mean, I try to encourage more and more women, and I get along well with women. And but then again, we have to be there to support each other, and we have to come out of that ancient thought process where, okay, all these jealousy, office politics, etc. It again, even the life of that thing is very short. If we are here to bring change, and if we are here to do something really good, then we have to be a little far-sighted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks all the speakers. I think this has been one of the most genuine, most honest discussion, and I am really glad that I was part of this discussion as a moderator. And yeah, I am really happy to see you all here and have you be part of this event. And I'm sure that everybody who's listening to all of us, all of you, is taking at least 10 different points home with them. So thank you so much, Deepti, Sharda, Arshi. Thank you for being here. And I'm looking forward to many more conversations on Visi platform as well as one-on-one. There's a lot I can learn from all of you. And yeah, I'm really happy that I'm connected with you. And yeah,
Thank you, and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Vaidehi. Get well soon, Arshi, or get well.
Get well soon.
Get well soon, Arshi. Yes.
Thanks, Vaidehi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, listeners.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. So before we move on to the second panel, as we promised, we are going to give you a sneak peek into our platform. So let me hand it over to Ashrita to give you a sneak peek of the platform, and then we move on to the second panel. Thanks a lot. Ashrita, take it over.
Thank you, Vaidehi. So Visi launched our digital community platform, the Visi Tribe. For those who missed out in the morning or joined late, we have a short video which is everything that you need to know about a platform, the Visi Tribe. So I'll present the video.
Ashrita, we can't hear it.
Welcome to Visi Tribe, a community dedicated to all women in sport, created by Women in Sport India. You can be a member of Visi Tribe by choosing one of the two community membership plans, courtside or bleachers. Each plan has its own benefits, and you can see them by clicking on the plan. Here you will see the membership details and benefits. Once you have chosen the right plan for you, you can become member by clicking on the subscribe button. You can create your own account or use any of the easy sign-up methods such as Google, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Once you have signed into your account, this is where you land. Your main activity feed, or as we call it, home of Visi Tribe. This is where you will see all the activity of Visi Tribe. This page also has filters which you can use to choose what you want to see. Discovery page is a summary page of Visi Tribe. Here you will see top members, featured posts, upcoming events, top programs, topics that you can follow, and top posts. So if you want a quick update on what's happening on Visi Tribe, give this page a visit. On members page, you will find entire directory of Visi Tribe members and mentors. You can filter them by location, when they have joined, their roles. You can also see who is online when you are. And the best part is, the connections are unlimited. You can follow, DM, or meet as many members as you want. You can also search members according to their professions. This makes it easy to connect with the relevant members you want to connect. You can see all upcoming events here on the events page. As you can see, we already have so many lined up for you. When you opt for your membership, you will automatically be part of relevant groups. You can find them on Spaces page. Notice that we have created a special jobs and opportunities group just for you. Once you're a member, you can also apply for one of our programs. You can also get personalized notifications by choosing what you want to see or hear about. If you feel this platform could benefit other women in sport like you can invite them to join Visi Tribe. You can send them an invite over an email or by sharing your personalized link. The best thing about sharing the personalized link is it allows you to be part of our ambassador program and earn discount on the membership fee depending on how many members you refer. And the awesome thing about platform is you don't need to be in front of computer to stay in touch with your Visi Tribe. You can download the mobile app and stay in touch with the members and updates on the go. With Visi Tribe, your success is our success. See you on the other side.
So that is what our Visi Tribe is all about. We will drop the link to the page in our chat box, and it will take you directly to the landing page of the Visi Tribe. You can also reach out to us by email, or you can log on to your social media platforms and find our official pages on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, for the links to which will also be dropped in the chat box by one of our members. And so with this, I hand it over to Anika for the second panel.
Thanks, Ashrita. I am honored to introduce this second panel to all of you. They are a bunch of amazing, highly experienced people that we have as our panelists, which comprises of Aditi Mutatkar, Ahna Mirotra, Dr. Gitanjali Bhide, and Gayatri Vartak. Priyanka, probably you can spotlight them.
Yeah.
Thanks. So I will start with Aditi Mutatkar. She is the head of Athlete and Women Initiatives at Simply Sport Foundation and also the center head at Padukone Sports Management. She comes with a transition from being a sports person at an elite level to working presently in the non-profit sector of sports. She's a former international badminton player from Pune, Maharashtra, a Commonwealth Games medalist, and has represented India at all major international events. After her retirement from an active playing career in sports, she enrolled in Masters in Public Affairs in UK with a specialization in non-profit management. After this, she moved back to India to build a grassroots level sports ecosystem. In her quest, she worked with the Art of Play Foundation for 2 years. Currently, she's heading the Athlete and Women Initiatives at Simply Sport Foundation. You can check out her website, aditimutatkar.com, wherein you will find some amazing, honest blogs that she has written, ranging from the topics of taboo that exists in discussing menstruation to some personal life lessons in financial independence. So welcome, Aditi, to this platform. Thank you so much for giving your time over here. The next speaker that we have is Ahna Mirotra. She is a sports lawyer and founder of AM Sports Law and Management Company and partner at TMT Law Practices. She is an ILS Law Pune graduate, and after that, she went on to do her master's from UCLA in entertainment, IPR, and sports law. She is one of the first female sports lawyers in India and had an amazing journey working with ISL, table tennis leagues, and so many other different leagues. She's actively involved in the day-to-day affairs of business of sports and has been instrumental in setting up some of the major franchise-based leagues in India and serves as a visiting faculty at several institutions of repute. Not to forget that she is the co-author of the second edition of the book Law and Sports in India. It is one of the only books available about sports law in India. Another interesting fact about Ahna is that she was chosen to play cricket for the India under-19 women's team and has participated in other sports at the state level. She always had a strong desire to club both vocation and passion, and that she does in her journey as a sports lawyer now. So thank you, Ahna, for being here. A very warm welcome to you as well. Thank you for being present over here today. The next speaker and a highly experienced woman that we have on our panel is Dr. Gitanjali Bhide. Dr. Gitanjali Bhide is a sports nutritionist and she brings with her tremendous experience in sports nutrition. She has worked in this field for around 20 years and started when there was not a lot of awareness or recognition about this field. She holds a PhD in food nutrition dietetics and has worked with well-known institutions and athletes, including the Army Sports Institute, Lakshya Sports, Army Rowing Node, and the likes. She has also been into academics as a visiting faculty for more than 15 years. Dr. Gitanjali Bhide is also the recipient of the Young Scientist Award by the Nutrition Society of India and the J.N. Bose Memorial Award in Community Nutrition. She has always said in conferences and even during our Visi course sessions that nutrition trends come and go, but what she has always focused on and wants us to focus on as well is providing and using authentic nutrition solutions, which she has emphasized throughout her career through her talks, blogs, and personalized diet plans for athletes. So welcome, Dr. Gitanjali Bhide. Ma'am, I'm so happy to have you here as a part of this panel. Next up, we have Gayatri Vartak, our final speaker. Let me tell you all that she wears a lot of hats and started her journey in sports by becoming a professional badminton player. She has been an international player and was positioned as the top 100 singles badminton player. Apart from that, she has also been a state level swimmer. So after her decade-long career in badminton, Gayatri pursued Masters in Psychology from University of Pune, after which she co-founded Samiksha Sports Private Limited with Dr. Janki Ardiole. Samiksha Sports have now served close to 3,000 athletes across the country. They are associated with and have closely worked with some big organizations, including BCCI, Indian Paralympic Team 2020, Prakash Padukone, Badminton Academy, Virat Kohli Foundation, OGQ, and the likes. One interesting and a little unknown thing about Gayatri is that she had planned to pursue UPSC civil services examinations, but in between she pursued psychology and entered this field along with the co-founder Janki, and they created India's first ever sports psychology consultancy by the name of Samiksha. So welcome Gayatri and welcome everyone to this panel. I would just like to say one thing, that we tend to take the numbers of years of experience a little casually, in the sense that they are a small numerical figure to us, especially when such an elite panel of people are present over here and given their years of experience. But their journey of so many years cannot be covered certainly in a minute's introduction. And for that, I would recommend that you can connect with them on LinkedIn, visit their websites, look at their YouTube videos, or maybe enroll yourself for a Visi course wherein they provide personalized sessions. So welcome everyone, to each and every panelist to this Visi event. So to kick off the discussion, I would like to ask one common question to you all, that why do you think that there is a need to create a community of female mentors in sports? Probably Aditi, we can start with you on that.
Hi, so I'm sorry, I kind of lost some of it because there was no electricity, but could you just repeat the question?
Yes, no problem, Aditi. So I asked that why is there a need to create a community of female mentors in sports?
I think forever, like we have always had men telling women sports stories for quite some time. I think it's time that, you know, we women kind of get to tell our own stories, talk about our own experiences, and have in the audience not just women but men as well. A lot of times, what I feel is that also I feel that, you know, given that you know, women are just starting out in sport, it is not going to be easy to find some of the best mentors. There still will be men. And we of course need to be open, and we need to kind of be aware of that and reach out to them as well. But I feel like, you know, when we see other women, like you just had an amazing panel, and, you know, to follow up on that, I'm already kind of a little dazed with, you know, what was being spoken, and it's not easy to kind of follow up from there. But I feel like you know, it's very, very important to have female role models in the industry, because if you don't have them, you kind of feel out of place, or you could feel like, you know, agar mujhe koi kisi se baat karni hai to kisse karu, right? So I feel like, you know, it's extremely important to have female role models, also having access, and, you know, kind of getting away from the last question that we had asked the last panel, that, you know, competitiveness and the bitterness, and, you know, all of that, we have to kind of get beyond that, and you know, kind of build a community, which Vaidehi has been, you know, trying to do for quite some time now, and I'm so happy where it's reached today. So yeah, congratulations to that, to the Visi team on that as well. So yeah, I mean, we definitely need you know, females, more female participation and more female mentors, but we also need to open up the conversation to the men, and be open to kind of have them as mentors as well.
Thanks, Aditi. I completely agree. It's a two-way street. The conversation is always going to be open to men, and we all need to, all the genders, in fact, need to work together. And at the same time, it's important to have people of the same gender on your side, not as a healthy competition. Dr. Gitanjali Bhide, I would really love to have your views on the same, and welcome so much to the panel.
So basically, if there are female mentors, then the athletes would definitely connect. And nutrition is such a field it is a female dominated field, because most of the courses that happen in nutrition are offered in home science colleges. And it is considered that home science is something that only women do. And nutrition is one elective there. So most of the nutritionists whom you will consult will be females. However, things have definitely changed. And in colleges like MS University, Baroda or Nirmala Niketan, boys have also started enrolling in home science courses. So there are a lot of people who are now going to be there. So men are also going to take up courses in nutrition. So definitely there is scope for both. And as Aditi has said that, yes, the community will always have men. So you cannot say that you should have female mentors, but having a female mentor would be an added advantage, but you will definitely have to work along with the men also all the time. So in my career, I began my journey as a sports nutritionist with the Army Sports Institute, being the only female in the institute, because that was the only role that was there. Everybody, the coaches, trainers, the foreign coaches, the staff, everybody were male. Officers, everybody was men, but I was the only person who was there as a female coach, especially for nutrition.
Thanks, Gitanjali ma'am. I especially wanted your opinion because you started first at a time when sports nutrition was not even considered a particular field, but you sort of took up the flag and brought it through. So thank you so much for giving your opinion on that. Gayatri, I would love to have your opinion on the same. And I know you are unwell, so thank you so much for showing up in such circumstances as well.
Good afternoon, everybody. You know, I think it's important to have women mentors. I grew up having most mentors in form of males, whether it was coaches who taught me badminton, whether it was my own sports psychologist, whether it was someone who was guiding me to write an UPSC exam. I think across all those paths that I ventured on, most of my mentors, be fair to say that most of my mentors were men. I don't think it really came with a lot of disadvantage, honestly. I think it has its own advantages. But I think surely it would be great to have a women community too, to be able to get the perspective from sort of a more holistic, more rounded approach. So I think yes, we do need a lot of women mentors within sport. I also feel like over the last 10 years or so, like Dipti had mentioned in the earlier panel, a lot of a lot of the organizations, a lot of the people who were heading positions in sport were mainly men. And I think with more women coming into sport, I do see a shift in paradigm of sorts, where there will also be women mentoring now, that over 10-12 years of their own experience. We have Gitanjali with us, who's already spent 20 years in the field. So needless to say that we will have more women mentors, I feel, over years to come. Having said that, I feel like, I didn't lose a whole lot by having men as mentors. So I think we need both genders coming in. We need perspectives in a field where the field is only growing in all ways. So yeah, I think over time we will definitely have more women mentors.
Thanks, Gayatri. I agree that definitely we need to have people of all gender as mentors. And given the fact that I know late Sir Bam was one of the people who had a tremendous part in your and Janki's journey for Samiksha Sports and personally as well. So I completely relate to that, what you were saying. Anna ma'am.
We see courses really well. You seem to remember a lot more than I do. So done.
Yes. Thanks, Gayatri. Hannah ma'am, it would be great to have your perspective as well in the same, especially given the background of sports lawyer.
I guess I'm just going to borrow from one of the things that Deepti said, right? That and it's also a very famous quote out there, that in future there will be no female leaders, there will be just leaders. So I guess we're all coming from a place where I don't think the emphasis in the future is going to be to have female mentors. Of course, same-sex role models can offer mentees the kind of support and the kind of insight necessary to persist and succeed in a particular field. Just in terms of a basic insight into probably how best to navigate in a man's world, in a male-dominated workspace. I think that's well, of course, like Gayatri mentioned, that she lost out by not having female mentors. I think that's definitely a con of the whole thing. But I think a pro in this whole situation is that, yes, me coming from a field where there weren't any sports female lawyers when I started out, and when I asked around in terms of who could I reach out to as a mentor, I think I heard one common name out there, which everybody turned around and said, reach out to Nandan, he's probably your best guide. Because at that point in time, anyways, of course, he'd been doing great work. IPL had just been set up. He'd worked on the IPL. And so when I decided to do sports law, that was, a common name that came about in that. But I guess the reason why it's important is basically that people who've developed success strategies in a particular area of work, right? You can just pass on that learning on to the next generation, make it easier for them to enter into the field or make a success story. So I guess that's essentially why it's important to have a mentor, not necessarily a female mentor out there. So just to be able to, pass on your success story and make it maybe easier for someone else to overcome the kind of hurdles that you may have faced personally.
Thanks, Anna ma'am. But I would like to put it out there that although she said that it's not something specifically related to the gender, but she specifically has inspired a lot of lawyers to get into sports law. Coming from a law background, I can definitely say that. So thank you for that, ma'am. Gayatri, I would like to ask one very specific question to you while we are on this discussion, that unlike most fields in sports, we can see more female sports psychologists. Is there a specific reason to it? And is there something that other fields can learn from the field of sports psychology in this sense?
Yeah, I'm going to answer the first question first. I think similar to what Gitanjali mentioned in the beginning, I think psychology still in India comes under the arts field, unlike many other countries, especially in the West, where it's a science. The natural tendency is over years that women are more enrolled into arts or home science based courses, where psychology is another, offering for them. Whereas within the science field, where a lot, I think, where is more gender neutral, I would say, we don't offer psychology at the moment. So I think that is a definite reason why we don't have so many males who are entering the field. Obviously, there is a bunch of males who are, practicing sports psychology, learning sports psychology now. But yes, I agree that it is more female dominated, especially I think it's to do with the formative education structure in India. Whereas, in the West, there's a lot more males who are in the higher positions, who are more influential, who are also very successful male psychologists. I think the second part of this really is that, as a society, we tend to believe that females are more understanding. We are more wired emotionally, and I think I'll take great pride in it because it helps me in my field. But because of those beliefs that we have about women in general, women and its role in the society, I think more and more females are, making their positions within the field of sports psychology stronger.
Yeah, sorry, Gayatri, you were saying something?
No, I was just completing it, but go ahead.
Thanks, Gayatri. And given the fact that you mentioned that it is considered an arts field still, and I remember Janki also telling us in one of her sessions that in other countries it's considered as a part of science. But I still hope that people of all genders join in this field, not only just females. But yes, I understand your reason why the ratio of females is more in this particular field as of now. So thanks, Gayatri, for that. Anna, I would also like you to answer that question, given the fact that in the field of sports law, the females are very less. So is there a specific reason to that?
I guess, both law and sport in general are considered male-dominated professions. I mean, I, of course, decided very young that I wanted to pursue law. I think I was about 10 or 11 years old when I decided that I wanted to make a career in law. And sport wasn't something that I was necessarily looking at. My selection for the India under-19 team just happened. It was not a target, right? I was just playing sport constantly, and then I went for my nationals. And in fact, I still remember we had lost against both Andhra and Haryana. Those are two matches. And then my class 12 boards were like 2 months away. So I told my coach, I said, there's no point me staying around for the closing ceremony. I'm just going to leave and, get back to the books. And I flew back from Bhopal, and 2 days later, she picked up the phone on me and she said, guess what? So I said, what? And she's like, you've been chosen for the India under-19 team. I think I just about opened my books and I immediately shut them with the, mindset that, ab to kahin par bhi admission ho jayega. Like suddenly that was, that in sports quota, I'll get it through. But the realization dawned at the time that of course, when I was playing cricket, women's cricket was not even under BCCI, right? So there wasn't even, women's cricket only came under BCCI in 2008, and I'm talking about 2006, I think, 2006 January. So the situation was not as good as it is today. Of course, women's cricket has changed along the way a whole lot. And Also, I think it wasn't a very lucrative career option. So coming from those steps, and then I'll give another example was that even though I had that letter when I had been chosen, right, when I went to apply to like a St. Stephen's in Delhi University for an English honors course or something like that. And I mean, I didn't have very bad grades. I didn't have the best grades out there. I had about 86, 87% in my class 12. But they said, we don't take women in cricket. I mean, sports quota is not good because there's no women's cricket team in DU, right? Which came as another awakening sort of thing that, oh, so there's that distinction that exists, right? So likewise, I mean, I think women in general, there are about 50% law students that are women. I think, but women are expected to make that choice sometimes in a large part of our society that, to choose between a career and to choose between family or making a home. That's the unfortunate truth in a large part of society. So in the process, like a whole bunch of good lawyers are lost. I mean, I think I was a decent sports person and I lost out because of the kind of distinction that existed between male cricket and female cricket at the time. Likewise, I mean, today, there are different reasons why women, even though equal number of women go to law schools, they eventually end up dropping out. But so that's like a large part of the reason why we lose out on some great female lawyers, so to speak. And I mean, yeah, even like I mentioned, right, that at the start of my career, I'd walk into a room and I'd often see raised eyebrows in terms of what's a woman doing in this room, right? It's only when I could talk technical stuff in terms of that I understood sport. I could explain what a leg side and offside would be, or that water deuces. I know tennis, I know cricket, I know other sports. I've played water polo, so I understand how that works, so etc. etc. Is when people started to take me more seriously, right? And that's when those raised eyebrows over time sort of turned into acceptance. So of course, I think the general perspective is, and the general opinion of people is that sport is not for women, law is not for women, and that's when there are fewer and fewer people, fewer and fewer females that get into this domain. But I mean, I think there are several people who've done extremely well. Our authorities, I mean, today, I mean, way senior. She probably started out before any of us. Vandana Gupte at IMG, now Reliance Rice World, right? She heads their legal and has been a part of the team since when the IPL started out. So I guess she is the first female sports lawyer who worked in this domain. Namrata Chatterjee, who's again today at ISL, heading their league side of things, is an exceptional lawyer. So there are these people who've sort of made their mark in various domains, and gender no longer holds, right? I mean, today most of my clients are men, and I don't think any of them look at me as being a female, so she's probably not as good, right? They're working with me simply because I am good with what I do. It's not, gender is no longer a consideration, and I guess that's what we're trying to achieve. I mean, I take a lot more. You said it while you were introducing me that I'm probably one of the first female sports lawyers out there. I don't really take pride in that fact. I take more pride in the fact that I'm probably a first generation lawyer, or one of the younger ones who sort of had that courage to go out there, start off my own practice and take that risk, right? And still manage to make a decent sort of a success story in terms of who's been able to do decent work in the space. So I guess people should not ever look at it that gender is a yardstick, right? You should be allowed to pursue what you really want to do. So gender should certainly not define why you choose to do what you do, or for that matter, choose to work with who you work with, So I guess my message to people out there would be that go out there, follow your dreams. Doesn't matter what gender, where you come from, or whatever it is.
Thanks, Anna. Given the topic of sports persons that we were on, when Anna also told us about when she was chosen to play cricket for the India under-19 team, I would also like to ask Aditi on that matter, given that she has played at an elite level, that looking back when you were an athlete and when you were transitioning from there was no particular community of women in sport over there to act as a support team of sorts. So had there been such a team at that point of time, how do you think it could have helped you in transitioning?
So quite frankly, Anika, what happens, and like, Ahana also touched upon that sport is not something that is very naturally that something that women pursue in India. I mean, it is changing now, but when I was playing, I was one of the few. I was only the one girl who was playing in my school, for example, or I was in my society, or in my community that had picked up a sport to kind of professionally play. So I think as you grow up as an athlete in India, you kind of get used to being amongst the few who kind of pick up sport. And coming from that kind of a mentality, even when I was, transitioning from the sport, I was used to not having a lot of women around me, right? I mean, I was not really looking at it from the gender perspective at all. I was actually just looking at it from an athlete perspective. Ki yaar, ab karu kya? I mean, you give 26 odd years of your life for the sport, and you're not thinking you're going to quit till you actually quit. You kind of want to keep pushing, and you don't want to quit so early, and it's very difficult to quit a sport, right? I mean, something that you've given 15, 16 years of your life. So I was actually looking at it from that viewpoint, that ki I'm an athlete who, and that's why I think yes, we need women communities, but for an athlete, especially in India, you actually even need athlete communities to kind of think about karna kya hai, and also like I said, the woman angle of this question never really came to me. I was actually just working from my perspective of, how do I reinvent myself? How do I, keep, because I was just 26 when I quit the sport. And from 26, I had a Bharat Petroleum job and all of that, but it was, of course, not making any sense to me. Petrol, diesel sell karna was like, Arey, main kya kar rahi hu? I mean, it was just not making sense to me. So I had to find something to do that made sense. And luckily, I kind of followed my own path. Like, when it came to doing my master's in public affairs in the US, I was the only Indian in the class. I was the only athlete in the class. I was kind of just following my path. And I realized that, there's a lot of strength that comes from it, right? I mean, just following what you love, following what you do, and that is gender neutral, quite frankly. I mean, it comes from the fact that you kind of love what you do, and you have to have the guts to follow it through. And also, like, my choice of maybe working from the development sector or in the non-profit sector, आज भी मेरे मम्मी पापा बता नहीं पाते कि मैं क्या करती हूँ. I mean, it doesn't make करती क्या हो यार. I'm like, I tell them that I'm trying to bring a change, and I'm trying to change lives and all of that. Like, क्या change यार, मतलब दिख तो कुछ रहा नहीं है. And I'm like, नहीं होगा. So it is not easy. It is not easy to take all these decisions, and it is actually, again, like I said, not gender specific. When you follow your path, when you follow your heart, it's always difficult. It's good if you're an engineer in India and you follow your heart, because it's just easier because you have a lot of other people doing the same thing. But maybe for an athlete to get into the development sector and to be working in a government school, like, people would ask me ki yaar, why are you doing this? Why don't you coach? Coaching kar lo, bahut paisa hai usme. That's not what I want to do. I want to work with these kids here in a government school in wherever in Ambala I used to work and all of that. So I feel like, it's not about women communities for me. I mean, at that time, that it didn't really matter. I was just struggling as an athlete for sure. And I would have loved if there was, help from the federation or help from if there was an athlete community where I could discuss this. So the women community angle as an athlete for me, it didn't really come up because, like I said, maybe I was just used to being one of the few women playing or whatever as I grew up as well. So it was in my mindset already.
Thanks, Aditi, for your honest answer. And I, of course, agree with the point that we need athlete-specific communities as well. Forget them being a gender-specific community. First, we need athlete-specific communities as well. And for all of the audience, I would like to tell that she also runs an athlete management program at Simply Sport Foundation. It's an amazing program. You can go check it out on the Simply Sport Foundation website. So thanks, Aditi. Gitanjali ma'am, I have a very specific question for you. That you have always said that the sports nutritionists to players ratio has always been a little skewed in India. And what can the current sports nutrition mentors like you do to increase that number, be it of any gender?
See, basically what happens is, in this particular field, whatever is taught in colleges is more towards clinical nutrition and dietetics. So there are more courses available out there, and there are nutritionists who take up these kind of jobs, working as hospital dietitians or weight management consultants and etc. And another important aspect about nutritionists is that they really have to compete with lot of quacks out there, because there are so many self-proclaimed nutritionists. Everybody out there tries to be like, it's like anybody can become a nutritionist. And I guess Gayatri will agree with me that in sports psychology also there are a lot of quacks. We see that they are not qualified people. So basically we need to have more courses available to them. And in all my Visi programs or all my sessions, I always emphasize that it will be an added advantage. I am myself not an athlete. I have just played kho and handball in junior college, but not an athlete. But being an athlete and taking up sports nutrition as a career choice will be an added advantage. And all those here who are athletes should take it as an option for career, because you will understand so many things better than a non-athlete. So there are a lot of opportunities out there. Women athletes can become sports nutritionists, and definitely they will be able to learn, understand their clients better, and offer the best advice to their clients. So that is something which I would like to emphasize here. And definitely the ratio is quite skewed, because many of these nutritionists are doing a lot of clinical nutrition and weight management, because it is an option which gives them easy money. However, sports nutrition, we also look at grassroots level athletes who really don't have the 4 square meal. They don't really know what they should be eating. So that area is still untouched. Working with the grassroots level athletes with minimum budget and giving the best possible advice is what is very, very important and essential.
Thanks a lot, Gitanjali ma'am, for your answer. And I know that you yourself have been mentoring a lot of people till now in the field of sports nutrition per se. So there is one question from the audience that I would like to ask you, Gayatri, that Surbhi Manjrekar says that I am a sportswoman down with an injury. I have lost my spot in the team and I am not finding any job opportunities. Being in sports for women is tough, maybe not for all, but surely for those from the outskirts of the city. How can there be a change in our lives with sports as a medium, as a sort of income?
So if I've understood this correctly, that she's undergoing an injury and has lost the position on the team. Is that?
Yes.
Okay. I think first of all, being an athlete yourself, you come with an advantage of doing well in a sports allied field. Like Gitanjali just mentioned, you might perhaps be a better sports nutritionist than someone who's never played at all, right? I think that was one of the biggest advantages that I had when I worked in the field. Having done it myself, a lot of those things that have happened within the athlete's mind came easily to me, and I didn't really have to open a book and study them in a sense, right? So I think if you want to kind of build a life around sport today, there is a lot of opportunities within sports psychology, nutrition, biomechanics, kinesiology, coaching, something similar to what Aditi is doing, within administration. So I think something that I have truly believed in is you have to understand your strength. Tell me, you're not able to hear me?
Yeah, now I can, Gayatri.
I think something that I have always believed in is you have to always be able to work around your own strengths. So if sport is your strength, understanding sport is your strength, then doing something which goes in line with that will obviously be the first go-to choice. So whether it is a football team or a cricket team, within, whether it is simple coaching, just doing basic fitness, qualify yourself within that field, get the right scientific knowledge from the right resources. I mean, Coursera courses are great, right? But I don't know if a Coursera course really equips you to go and practice out there, because you're finally dealing with the lives of many, many individuals. So doing allied courses which are online is good on the CV, but I don't think it makes you a well-rounded professional. For you to become one, I definitely do think that you need to do a master's level course, which helps you deep dive into what the field really is out there. And I think for someone, for the person who's asked us that question, I think whatever field they are in, so whether it, like I said, football, hockey, cricket, I'm just assuming that given that she's into a team sport, I think doing something that interests them and using sport to leverage that is really something that should be a go-to choice, according to me.
Thanks, Gayatri. I think our present Visi program mentees are also doing that. Those who have played the sport at an elite level, they are also leveraging that to enter into the new field. And Aditi, I would love to have your input as well on the same, that what should a sports person who's down with an injury, how should she take her career forward?
The sport. So I think she wants to know what to do apart from the sport itself. Yes, she doesn't want to continue with the sport. So see, I think, as an athlete, at least I'll just tell my experience of, how I kind of define my second innings. It's very, very important to slow down. When you're injured, when you're sitting, at home, there will be parents talking at you. There will be I had a husband, or, there will be people talking at you, telling you hazard things. Ye kar lo, wo kar lo, don't sit down, study, whatever. So I feel like as an individual and as an athlete, you should give yourself at least 3 to 4 months. I mean, the duration can be anything, but give yourself some time to understand what you like, what you want to do, and really talk to people. It's very, very important to be approachable and go and approach people and ask them what are the different things that are going on, and also taking that time for yourself. I think that's critical. And then coming out with a plan which you agree to. बहुत बार ऐसा हो जाता है कि we fall under pressure of like for example, when I was thinking about what to do next, a lot of people told me do an MBA. I mean, why don't you do an MBA? Because उसमें पैसा है, you have a personality, you can do all of that. But I was not interested in an MBA. I was not interested in finance and marketing, and it didn't really interest me. So what I'm trying to say is take some time, for yourself to first understand कि तुम्हें अच्छा क्या लगता है. Like Gayatri was already telling us that, understand what you like. Take some time off to kind of understand that, and then the path will get clearer and clearer. Talking to people, once you know what interests you, you can then identify the people in that field. Like the earlier panel was also talking about, you can identify people in that field, reach out to them. Also, I feel like there is a hesitation to reach out. I think you should, even if it is the biggest person ever, your chota sa bubble, you have to reach out, you have to send that message, you have to ask them, can I have a call with you? I'm this person. बहुत बार ना हम ही हमारे रास्ते के बीच में आ जाते हैं. You kind of say कि यार ये मेरे से क्यों बात करेगी, या ये मेरे से क्यों बात करेगा. I think a lot of times some of these great professionals are also good people. You have to give them that chance to help you out as well. So I feel like reach out. नहीं क्या होगा, they will say नहीं मेरे पास time नहीं है, they will not respond. All of that will happen, and that's fine. It's okay. I mean, they are in a position where they can do that. But I feel like actually they shouldn't do that. But I'm just saying कि अगर कर भी लेते हैं तो करने दो. So I feel like reaching out, taking your time to understand what you want to do is very, very critical. And once you do that, I think the path becomes very easy to follow. But अगर confusion दिमाग में है तो तुम्हारे steps में भी confusion होगा, and then you will end up doing something that you don't enjoy. So don't do that. Yeah.
Thanks, Aditi. I think a combination of self-awareness, reaching out to people, the requisite people, and taking out the time to actually understand about yourself, that will be a key process in getting out of this situation, or rather getting into a new career for any person, be it a sports person or any other person. So thanks for that, Aditi. Now my next question I would like to ask both Anna and Gitanjali ma'am, that Nikhil Kunteta says that there is a serious lack of commitment by a majority of female coaches in the game of football towards developing their expertise, as it takes time to reach a level in sport where you can sustain your careers purely on the basis of income from that particular sport. So what are the initiatives that can be taken to assist people in this journey of making a particular sport sustainable in the sense of income that it provides? So Gitanjali ma'am, I think we can start.
So basically, I think in a women's career, there are setbacks like taking a break for maternity leave or something, or taking a break. Career breaks are definitely going to happen in a female career. But then I think we should have that support system and the drive to do that. So you will be able to sustain and get back to your work. And if you love doing something, I'm sure you will get back to it. It is as simple as that. I have myself taken a break of almost 6 to 7 years in my career, but that was the time I utilized in doing something else, which was very concrete, of writing a book. So it depends on the person, and definitely people can come back. And in other fields, I feel there are so many other opportunities which like the Infosys Foundation in especially in the IT or Wipro, they want women to come back after they have taken a break in their career, and there are certain programs. I think in the field of sports, that is something which is lacking, and if there are such communities like VZ, definitely people will be motivated to come back and also give their best.
Thanks, Gitanjali ma'am. I feel your opinion is very valuable, since you've been in the industry for 20 years. So thank you for that. And before moving on to me asking Anna ma'am about the same, I think Aditi had to leave early. So thank you for your time, Aditi, and giving your honest opinions over here today in the panel.
Thank you so much. So this was the only time that I had, thanks to Agastya, and he was banging the door. So I have to leave, but I want to again congratulate the Visi team, and for doing such a great taking out this great initiative. And I'm going to really look forward to being in this platform and talking to all you fantastic women. So congratulations and all the best. But I wish I could have been here and answer more questions and adhered to the conversation, but I have to leave, and I'm sorry for that. Thank you so much.
No problem, Aditi. Thank you so much for giving your time over here.
Thank you, Deepti. Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Yes, Anna ma'am. So I would like to ask you the same question, that how can someone make sports a more sustainable option in the sense of income?
I think to start with anyway, success should not only be measured by the kind of money you're making, right? That should not be the only yardstick or the measure of success out there. That being said, you also have to understand the general economics of the industry that you're in, right? As far as what the sports industry economically looks like in India. So if you are going to compare it to a developed nation like the States, somebody starting out in the US in a sporting career is obviously going to be making a lot more money, right? So you got to have those realistic, first thing, you got to have realistic goals out there. You can't have unrealistic expectations. I mean, to talk from a law perspective, and you've read law yourself. So not everybody is going to get that job at a top law firm with a starting salary of $1.5 lakh rupees, right? There's going to be only a certain percentage of people. The rest of us, or people who choose to go into litigation, their starting salaries are barely 15 to 20,000 rupees today. I mean, I started out, my first salary was 12,000 rupees. So, and even after spending the kind of money I spent in doing my master's in the US, I came back and I think I started off with another 30,000 rupees. So that mathematics didn't make sense to a lot of people, saying that you've just spent so much money doing your masters. When are you going to get returns on it, right? When are you going to be able to recover the cost that you invested? I didn't think that was an appropriate question to be asked anyway. But yes, I mean, I think, Deepti's posted out as a response to this question anyways, that, there are opportunities open at the Go Sports Foundation. There are lots of other such internship opportunities, which may not always be paid jobs, right? So even in the mentorship sessions, I turn around and say that no kind of experience is bad. So, of course, if you know that you really want to pursue sport, this is what you really want to do. Even if somebody is giving you that unpaid internship for a while, and you think that rather than sitting at home and waiting for that dream job to happen where it's going to pay you a huge amount of money, just take that opportunity, and something else will come through the networks you build, through the sort of connections you build, etc., etc. So of course, I mean, I think the message out there is to start, and once the community expands, right, once you're doing good work, I think it will automatically get acknowledged, and you will get incentivized for the kind of work you put in. I mean, up until I took the step I took to start off my own practice, I honestly wasn't making enough money to sustain myself, because my parents were helping me out. And even when I started out my own practice, my first 6 months in Mumbai one of the easiest 6 months out there. I went, I didn't own a car, I didn't know the city too well, so on and so forth. But things change. So of course, you have to be willing to take that gamble. But there are lots of opportunities out there where people are, more than willing to help you with, foundations like Go Sports coming along, companies like, I mean, today, the football industry growing, the digital space growing so much. Now we have a new asset in sport, NFT and fan tokens. People don't even realize that that's a new revenue generation scheme, and there might be, some opportunities out there. So you got to explore different avenues out there and not stick with, blindfolds onto one particular focus area. And I guess, when the moment you expand your horizon, opportunities will come in along the way.
Thanks, Anna, for a very comprehensive answer on that. And I think Deepti Bhopia, as you rightly pointed out, she has also answered. You can write to her. So Nikhil, you can write to her on the email address that she has provided in the chat box. With this, we come to an end with the discussion with panel 2. Thank you so much, Anna ma'am, Gitanjali ma'am, Gayatri ma'am, for your discussion today, giving in your time and answering all the questions honestly. I know that you tried to, I mean, you don't want to be biased as well towards a specific gender, and you want to put it out there very, very strongly through your discussion that it's not necessarily that a specific gender that matters in pursuing something, but at the same time, it's important to have a particular community in that area. So thank you so much to all for giving in your time today. And with that, we come to an end to the discussion for panel 2. And I am glad to handle this, to send this back to Priyanka for the session ahead.
Thank you.
Priyanka.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gayatri Anna, and thank you, Gitanjali ma'am.
Thank you.
So we are here to answer your questions, audience.
Hi, yes. Hi, Priyanka. I think there have been a couple of questions about Visi Tribe itself. So Priyanka, can you walk me through them?
Yes.
Let's see what the
questions. Specific Visi Tribe questions.
Yeah.
One is Mitali is asking, how can this Visi platform help her in enhancing her skills as a martial player?
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So through Visi platform, there will be a lot of women who are going to be part of the community. Some of them will be coaches. Some of them, like you saw on the panel, they are our mentors who are also there on the platform. You can connect with them. We will have master classes which can help you develop your skills. We also have our programs which are accessible through the platform itself. And because you are part of the platform, you will get certain discounts, certain benefits for the platform as well. So in case of upskilling yourself as an athlete. There will be coaches there who can help you. We will help you get in touch with people as well. If you come back to us, if you connect with us and say, okay, we have so and I want to go ahead and do so and so, can you help me get in touch with relevant people? You also have 3 free consultations with Women in Sport India, which in turn we will help you in getting in touch with right people. We will help you plan your career. We will help you in many other things. So there are many different ways in which you can get help from the platform itself. And we have another question.
Yes, so Dr. Sneha is asking, can we use this platform to collaborate with athletes and women's sport health professionals?
Yeah, so as a platform, this is today is the official launch of the platform, and there will be many different women who will be part of the platform, including athletes and health professionals, nutritionists, sports psychologists, sports lawyers, many more. So it will be up to you to connect with them. You will have direct access to all of them. The directory of the platform is open to all members, and you can get in touch with any and all members if you want to. Depending on your city as well, you can shortlist them and actually meet them. So yes, there are various ways in which you can get in touch with different people from different professions. And yes, you can collaborate with them on a personal level as well. VZ doesn't interfere with that collaboration. You have direct access to all these members. So yes, if you wish to collaborate with them, you can.
Yes, thank you, Vaidehi. Yeah.
If there are no other questions, I think, Priyanka, I will hand it over to you to end the program today. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I hope we have answered your questions right. We have reached the end of the wonderful event Visi Tribe launch. Thank you for the participation. It is a great experience to meet you all today virtually. I thank and appreciate all the panelists of the event, Dr. Gitanjali Bhide, Anna Mirotra, Gayatri Vartak, Aditi Mutatkar, Shraddha Ugra, Deepti Bhopia, Ashi Asin, for their wishes, information, and time shared for this event. A special thanks to Mr. Gaurav Sundararaman, who has assisted in conducting this event. Once again, credits to all mentors and panelists of Visi, whom the Visi Tribe and mentees experienced a great platform to work with. Also, great thanks to Visi advisors, Mr. Manda Tamni and Ms. Agna Mirotra. I hereby share the official website link and the LinkedIn profile of Visi on the chat. So please reach out to us to our any social media platform for our support. And follow pages for upcoming events from Visi. So thank you, Vaidehi, for making this event a reality. All of you have a happy Sunday and the rest of the week.